Hello, I'm Earl, and welcome to this very special edition. My guest on the program is MP Ottley. MP Ottley is leader of the Up Party's #1 candidate, the largest vote getter in the last election, right?
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here. Indeed, I was the largest vote getter in the last election, and I'm looking to maintain that with the road to 1,000.
The road to 1,000.
Road to 1,000. First time running, I did 420 votes. Second time, the population blessed me to do 774, making me the highest in the country. And with the work ethic that I'm placing in this election, I'm shooting for 1,000. It's always a goal to just beat myself. Strive for excellence. You will never be perfect, but if you strive for perfection, you will always do your best.
So, after August 19 and you elected at the off-your prime ministership, you'll take it?
Indeed. I realized, like you said, I was the highest vote getter in the country, and after that, a lot of people were expecting me to be the prime minister. So which means they were looking for that leadership quality. And that is something that I'm facing. That is one of the problems that I am facing this election, is that a lot of my previous supporters are upset because they feel as if their vote didn't count, because they say, I voted for you and you were not in. I voted for you and you're in opposition. You know, they're upset, and I explained to them that every vote counts, and now more than ever, I'm pleading to them that I need your support more than ever. Not only that we can surpass the 774, but that we can safeguard the position of the United People's Party so that we can be in government and we can negotiate for a prime ministership or whatever leadership position that we can get.
How you feel so far about things on the campaign trail today?
I feel great. I feel great. I have campaigned like I've never campaigned before, and I can only get better. This is my third time, so I only can get better. You learn the roots of the things, the core of the problems. You learn how to attack, how to retreat, how to, convince. You learn how to speak. But with me, it's a lot easier when I can say, I have done this, I have accomplished this, I've done the minimum wage, I have done the pension, I have done the diabetic foot care program, I have done the urgent clinic over the hill, and many other aspects, the Ottley cares that we have been pushing, the insurance policy, the Ottley scholarship, whereby persons now can obtain scholarships to go to NEPA. So with me, it's becoming a lot easier because they see my work ethic and they know if Ottley say A, it's A, and if it's B, it's B.
So you're saying that because you serve as Minister of Visa, that was quite an opening for you?
Oh, yes, indeed it was. As you know, I was not a Minister of VSR for 4 years. I was a Minister for 2.5 years. But however, in that 2.5 years, I've accomplished a lot of things. And when I say my accomplishments, it's not me bragging, but it's me giving the people of St. Martin the receipts. I work for you. You cast your vote for me. I need to give you the receipts to show you that I did indeed work. So that is what it is. It opened a lot of avenues for me. I also was Minister of TEAD. The United People's Party held 2 ministries out of 7. The other party had 5. So we were responsible for TEAD and VSI, and I held down both for 9 months.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work during COVID. So I was a first-time politician entering into the field, becoming Minister of VSI during COVID-19, and had to manage TEAD at the same time for 9 months.
You were going 25 hours a day?
Man, moving. Yeah, that's the first time I developed high blood pressure and all of those things. Yeah, it was a lot, but I made it through. I did it. I'm proud to say that I actually excelled in both. I opened back the country. That year when I opened back the country, we had one of the best high seasons since pre-COVID. So we had one of those numbers. We brought ships back to St. Martin. I increased the food basket, the basket of goods, whereby there's a cap on the pricing between the 12 items that they used to have, and I brought it to 72 items.
72?
72 items from 12. I also restarted the marketplace project, whereby I sat with all the vendors, got the drawing approved, and we were ready to go. However, politics is politics, and we see today that now the new minister wants to change the design. So we have yet to see that. I always believe in continuity, Oral. If you continue stuff, you can execute faster. You know, you can materialize faster. And now, after the passing of Tropical Storm Ernesto, we see that the marketplace is demolished. So today, these young, these entrepreneurs, these, whether it's young men, young women, older women, and I say both because I do see a mixture. And sometimes the young men and women are helping their mothers and fathers, but they have nowhere to work today. And this is why I say it's important continuity to start a project, move the project, and get it going.
Now, you're a member of Parliament, and you present some draft or legislations to Parliament, right?
Yes, sir. You know, sometimes in life you just have to avoid the noise, and I've been hearing a lot of people saying they have been there for X, Y amount of time and no laws has been submitted. But all the time I knew I was working on my draft legislations and amendments. So I submitted 2. I have been there for 5 months. I have already submitted 2. One is the LAV. This deals with the work permit process. We did a E1 labor market analysis. E1 labor market analysis, correct. This was done with the Netherlands and St. Martin, whereby we looked into what are the problems within the labor market, but specifically the illegal hiring of foreign workers. That's workers that they hire under the table, workers that don't have a work permit, so they don't pay taxes. And one of the main reasons, not one of the main reason, was the process in obtaining a work permit and residency permit. You go through about 11 to 12 weeks for the work permit, then you have to go through another set of weeks for the residency. And because of that, a lot of companies need to act quick, so they decide, you know what, let me hire illegally. So this amendment we made, of course, I have to protect the locals. So once you have tried to source locally and it's not successful, then we would expedite your process, cut down the time, make it easier, make it more efficient for you to obtain your work permit. And then we also added an expedited fee. So a fee if you want it faster, or you pay this amount, about 2,000 guilders, to expedite your process. This would increase revenue for the government.
Very good idea, because business needed to act quickly.
Correct. And it would cause more, more business to grow in St. Martin, more continuity. And also the other amendment and the draft initiative that I submitted was an amendment to the LTU, dealing with the admittance and expulsions to St. Martin. That's the national ordinance dealing with the admittance and expulsion to St. Martin. So the amendment that I made was allowing kids born here of foreign parents, excuse me, who have been here for 10 years or more and have contributed to the tax system, for those kids to obtain immediate residency upon birth. The reason that I put a timeline on it, I have to protect St. Martin from an influx of people coming here just to make kids. We are already overpopulated. Then you'll deal with the burden of poverty. You'll deal with the burden of our healthcare is bending, ready to break. All of these issues we have to strengthen. But I do believe that it is important. If someone is here for 10 to 20 years contributing to our tax system, they are not going anywhere. Another amendment that I made to this ordinance is the fact that right now in the current ordinance, if you are born of foreign parents, you go to school here consecutively for 16 years, you can then obtain your residency.
So you can't miss a year then?
No, you can't miss a year. You've been here consecutively, go to school here, 16. But with that, the problem is you can then obtain your rights, your citizenship, your Dutch passport 5 years later. You're 21. The average graduation date of high school is 16 to 18. You have already missed that opportunity to study abroad, to Canada, America, the Netherlands. Your only opportunity basically is USM. So what I did, I said, let's make the amendment to 10 consecutive years. You obtain your residency. That way you can obtain a passport by 15. When it's time to graduate high school, you can go. Because at the end of the day, their parents are foreign, but they have been born here. So you belong to here. You know here. That's all you know. But then we are limiting the educational level of our people, because they are our people. So what I'm trying to do is strengthen that aspect. And those are the amendments that I've made. And overall, you're going to get the exclusive. Today, actually, I have submitted, I don't know what time this will be airing, but I will be submitting my third draft amendment dealing with the civil code.
Civil code.
Yes, sir. While being a minister, I signed and submitted the new civil code, whereby if you had before 3 consecutive contracts, you'll be permanent. The previous parliament and government before, they passed it that if you have 2 consecutive contracts, you'll be permanent. Sounds good. But what they forget to deal with was the 3 months and a day that I can send you home, bring you back, and a contract then starts over. So in what we are doing now, we are looking at a balance. Teaching employers the civil code and teaching employers labor rights, and also their rights that they know when they can dismiss. But what we look at now in the civil code with my amendment is that we don't look at the 3 months and a day. We look at the time frame of employment. So you hire someone, send them home for 3 months and a day, bring them back. We look at that time frame. So if the time frame is 24 months, that person will be permanent. So if you send them home 6 month contract, 6 month contract, that's 2 consecutive. Just an example. And you send them home for 3 months and a day, they come back, it starts from 0. But we will continue to count the next 6 month contract as 18.
Oh, okay.
So the next one, they'll be permanent, however it may be. So we do this to protect our people. We have people that have met persons that have been on short-term contract for 10 years, 15 years. What are we doing? That person can never get a mortgage. Then we are not developing our middle class. That is something that has been needed for many, many, many years, and I'm proud to be a part of the solution. So that will be submitted today, or so I'll have 3 draft initiatives submitted in Parliament in a time frame of 5 months.
That's very, very fast. Considering 5, some people take a whole generation of 4 years just to submit one draft.
Yes, sir. I believe I've always had a philosophy: I will not be outworked. Your results might be better than me. You might beat me this time, but you will not outwork me. That's a philosophy that I live by in the ministry, in Parliament, and in campaigning.
It's a good way to look at things, because politics is such a complicated thing. It's the art of compromise and everything else. And I remember the first time I interviewed, I could see quite a big change from that time to now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It comes with growth and understanding that, politics is a funny thing. You need to have a thick skin, slow temper, and a clear mind. And once you understand that the world is filled with different ideologies, different reasoning, you can't please everyone. That is the first thing you need to learn in politics. But you need to work for everyone. My job is not to please everyone. My job is to work for everyone. And that is what I'm doing.
I never heard of politicians put it like that before.
Yeah.
But that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Because in the beginning I used to say, like for example, Aura, we had a minimum wage that has not been touched for 7 years. I saw my people suffering. In 2020, the then Minister Pamela Gordon, 2018, the then Minister Pamela Gordon adjusted the minimum wage by 1 cent. No one said anything. I came and I increased the minimum wage by its largest in history. I mean, Oral, I took, from when minimum wage started to increase, I took the 12 years and combined all the increases. And it was less than my 1 increase. And it was not good enough. I turned around after and I brought the minimum wage to $1,000, 1,801 guilders. It still was not good enough. But I don't focus on those who speak negative. I focus on those that say, MP, thank you. Those that say, thank you, it helped. Thank you, I saw the increase. Thank you, I was able to sustain this for my kids. That's what I focus on, because I work in the interest of people. And the next thing, Oral, the minister now is trying to say, oh, I did it wrong because I didn't use the LBM. Let me just enlighten that situation. The minister actually is wrong because Article 9, paragraph 7 says the minister has the authority to set a minimum wage where they see fit for a period of time. A period of time. This was done in Curacao as well. How is it set? It's set with a ministerial regulation. And then you have a year to follow it with an LBM. So right now, when I did it, I set it with an MR. It was also done in Curacao. So it's not the first time that it was done. Because what happens is the minimum wage is used by a CPI. So when the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, the cost of goods goes up by 2%, then your minimum wage is supposed to go up by 2%. The problem, Oral, if I am drowning, let me put it like this, and the water goes up 2 meters, and then I go up 2 meters, I'm still drowning. If I am drowning and the water goes up 2, I need to go up 4.
Yeah.
So what happened was, me using this article took us out of the CPI and brought us to the 1,000. So from now, as cost of living goes up, you would go up, but you're going up from the 1,000. It gives us that breathing room. That is why I did what I did and created what I created. It is absolutely correct. It is already published in the information sheet in the tax office, the ABE. So any company that is not fulfilling it is illegally acting. So this is what I'm saying. Put politics aside and let's work for the benefit of the people.
I think a lot of workers appreciate you for that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. When I go places, the waitresses, the bartenders, wherever I go, I meet people that are grateful for it. It went in April 1st, I enacted it. I wasn't even in government when it was enacted because when I did it, I didn't want to strain the businesses that, okay, in the next month you have to pay 1,000. So I gave them time to prepare. So, St. Martin.
And it wasn't an April Fool's joke.
And it wasn't an April Fool's joke like they thought it was going to be.
In case you just joined us, this is a special edition. My guest is the leader of the UP Party, MP Ottley. He's going to be pushing to be re-elected, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan.
Yeah.
I don't take nothing for granted. A lot of people, and that's what I want St. Martin to understand as well, Aura. I think I lose a lot of votes by just people saying, Otley gonna be good, man. He don't need me. I need you, St. Martin. Look in the camera now. I need you. I need your support. Every vote counts. Don't think that I don't need you. Every vote counts.
So you're asking all the voters to go out?
All. And you know what? A lot of people are expecting an extremely low turnout. I don't think so. I think the people will come out. The frustrations of the people, I think they will come out. And this is the time, like my slogan say, one more chance to get it right.
Well, you know what, MP? If a lot of people show up to vote, the small parties are going to feel it the most. They're
in trouble. And that's why I think if you realize, the small parties are not really facilitating, come out and vote, the importance of voting. Because everyone thinks on personal gain, but we need them to vote. We need people to come out in strong numbers, show their support. Yeah. That's the only way you can make a difference. Every vote counts because to reach to 1,000, I need to start with 1.
Exactly. So what's your vision? You're leader of the UP Party. Mm-hmm. What's your vision for St. Martin?
Well, my vision is prosperity. Let me put it like this. Economic growth, but a proper way. Moving into the future, not trying to get back to where we was, but adapting and moving into the future. A new proposed way of adapting, a new proposed way of marketing that allow a new generation of people to come to St. Martin, that allow influencers to come to St. Martin, making St. Martin somewhere where superstars and athletes and all of these people can come. And that comes with also public safety, job creation. That is what we need to do. I'm focusing on that. I've been a proponent of many job fairs, Ballast Native, hiring hundreds of locals. We did the Finzo job fair, where we hired, when I came in, they had 20-something employees. When I left, they had over 50. But I was not satisfied, so we were to do more with Finzo. I did job fair with the Hills Project. I did job fairs with Simpson Bay Resort. I did job fairs with Royal Caribbean where there was opportunities for up to 1,000 jobs. So job creation and health care for St. Martin, the preventative nature of health care. Prevention is something that is absolutely needed in St. Martin and is often overlooked. I always say it. If you can go and detect the early stage of cancer, early heart murmur, all of these things can save you years and years of chemotherapy, years and years of heart failure, bypass surgery. This saves hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars on our coffers. That's what I see for St. Martin. I see innovation, increase of tourism, increase of job opportunities. I see healthcare for St. Martin, and I want public safety for the people of St. Martin.
For a lot of people, healthcare is number one on their list, especially if you're over 50 today. What has been your experience as Minister of Visa and at the same time responsible for, say, SZV? What was that like?
First of all, I think that what we need to do in St. Martin, and I learned that with my job as VSI, I set requirements, criteria, and goals. I did it in my ministry, and I did it with SZV. And I'm proud to say that SZV has received 3 approved, unqualified reports, audit reports, since my tenure. Never done before. Why is that? We set requirements, we set goals, and get it done. That is important, Aura. And what I realized with COVID-19, COVID was not the killer. It's our deficiencies were the killer. COVID attacked your deficiencies, your high blood pressure, all of those things, and it exasperated it. And that what killed most of us in St. Martin. It showed us that we have a problem and we didn't know we have a problem. And the last health survey was done in 2015. So do that, that's almost 10 years. So how healthy really is St. Martin? So we did a survey to gather new up-to-date information. And that's why I say with the Ottley Care, the health insurance, we were focusing on preventative nature. You can go now if you're pre-diabetic and if you have to go on medication or a training program, we would then assist with payment. That's how you protect a population. Because right now we have a sickness insurance that only deal with you when you're sick. It's too late sometimes.
It become too costly too.
Exactly. So that is how I want to focus on health.
You have Sir Richard Gibson, number 2 candidate, on the party with you. He speaks very highly of you. What has been the reaction from people in your camp?
In the camp, very good, because they understood what I wanted to do. I wanted to add that credibility to the party, that voice of experience to the party, even if I don't know it all. You know, I have never had a mentor, despite what anyone thinks. You know, what I have learned along the way from watching maybe Teo make mistakes. I have always been around my uncle a lot, watching what he have done, his mistakes, and capitalizing from it. But I have never had like a mentor since I have been in politics to say, do this, don't do this. A lot of the moves I've made it just off of, you know, common sense and my ability to adapt. So to have Richard there to give me, did you know how this started? Well, this started then. This is the reason that this is happening. It guides me a lot better, and I realize that I'm campaigning a lot better because I have that experience behind me now. And like his slogan says, nothing beats experience.
You come from a family background of service to St. Martin.
Correct.
And your great-grandfather, is it?
Alfred Hazel.
Is it very well. I used to go to CV Hotel, sit down and talk with him. And it's amazing the things that gentleman did in his lifetime. What do you think about that whole family and background that you're part of?
Well, I'm happy because I'm actually 4th generation.
Yeah.
We're the only family to have that. That's 4 generations of politicians. But to know where you come from, you know, when he passed, I don't have much memories of him. I was young.
Yeah.
But when I read, and that inspires me, that entrepreneurship spirit, that spirit to go get it. You know, like for instance, I see DP say, have protect the legacy. and I see they have the pictures of, the other former leaders, but they don't have pictures of Melford Hazel. And Melford Hazel was one of the founders of DP. He actually ran on DP before Claudewati, because that was that vision that he had, So it shows you that, Omar, you cannot disappoint because you have a legacy to protect. I also have a legacy to protect. And then, and also a legacy to create.
Yeah.
Because one day, I want my great-grand to be walking around with my picture. I want that if I am not here no more one day, that St. Martin still talks about me the way they talk about Claude, the way they talk about Vance, the way they talk about Edgar Lynch. Your name is all you have. They asked me a time in Parliament, why do you name everything Ottley Care, Ottley Scholarship? I said, because my name is all I have, whether I'm in politics or out. And Oral, when you put your name, you could have named your show anything, right? But when you put your name on something, you put that extra luck, because that's your brand. And that is what I believe in. Stand on that. Make your name something.
Your party was seen by most people as a young party and mostly young people supporting. But do you think it's different now, having number 2, Mr. Gibson, on the list, that you're going to pull in a whole wider group of,
Yeah. The thing is, and I tell people, we're not a young party, we're a younger party, and politicians have been there. Yeah, politicians have been there longer than I have been born, 40 years.
Yeah.
So I understand why people have said a young party, a younger party. But with him being there, it adds that like you say, because when I go certain places, the older generation would ask for him.
Yeah.
They say, I remember when he helped me years ago. I remember when he did this years ago. I remember when he did that. So it actually helped a lot. And it was not a strategic move where I said, okay, let me try to get him to get the older generation. It was a move where we were talking.
Oh, you all met?
We met through a mutual friend. And he was very impressed when he met me. And we had more conversations. And while we were talking, he said, he spoke about what he did, and he's looking at the situation of St. Martin and giving me all these ideas. And I said, but you don't want to run? And he said, you know what? I don't mind, but let me think about it. And then he called me back and said, we're going to do it. And I was happy. And then they asked, why number 2? Because I strategically left number 2 open for a surprise factor. I didn't know who it was going to be or anything.
You just left it open.
I left it open.
That's amazing.
And I respect Akeem Arundel because he was the second highest on the party. He's actually an MP. And he could have been like, no, I want number 2. But he understood the vision. And I respect MP La Cruz as well. They understood the vision. So they took number 3 and number 4 respectively. And I left number 2 open, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. And no other parties wish they had him.
A lot, because a lot were vying for him.
Oh.
And then when he has a phrase, the fox calling the grape sour. And then, and then when he came, he was the worst person in the world. But when he was where he was the best. So, I take him proudly.
How you look at St. Martin as a politician? Because a lot of our young people, when I meet them, I'm so concerned and worried because a lot of them are angry and frustrated with the system. They feel like they're not really benefiting. How you look at that as a politician and leader?
Well, I understand their frustration. But I tell them too, you two have a responsibility, because when I list all these job fairs and stuff, a lot of it is benefited, but you have to keep your ear to the street, your ear to the newspaper, your ear to the government site, because a lot of things and opportunities they have missed. And I will be honest on both sides.
Yeah.
You cannot save everyone. You will never be able to save everyone. But my job is to save as much as possible. And I can give advice. And I would hope that if you are a community leader, oral example, and I help you, that you can help the next one.
All right.
Because it's not expected for me, really, to help hundreds, right? Like one group, you have a group of 100 persons. Realistically, politically, I can say, yes, I can help all of you. Realistically, which I do, I won't be able to help everyone. But if I can help 20 of you, and the 20 of you can just help 5 more, that's the 100.
Yeah.
See how easy that I got?
Right.
As opposed to me one trying to help,
Yeah.
Now I can help 20 for sure, and the 20 help 5. That's your 100. And that's what you call the community approach. And that's what I'm trying to reinstate back into our country.
A lot of people look at politics and figure that politics, if you try to work with business, then you're against the working class. But you can't grow a society without business.
Correct.
How is your relationship with the business community?
Oh, it's good. Very good, because I have been viewed as a socialist, to focus on the working class. And that's what we had to adapt, because UP has been pro-business. And I always say you have to just find a balance. When the business is right, they're right. When they're wrong, they're wrong.
Yeah.
If I was in someone's pocket or only focusing on business, I would have not increased the minimum wage twice. I would have not even increased pension. All of those type of things have an effect. They have an effect. And I was advised by certain, business organizations not to raise the pension. I mean, not to raise the minimum wage.
Right.
But I did it because I go off of what our people need. That's why you see, I want to establish a livable wage, whereby we take into consideration your bills, what you go through, your costs. And I want to, based on preliminary studies right now, we want to go to 2,700. That's a That's your livable wage, minimum, for a single household, a single person. You're supposed to make, you alone, minimum 2,700. But on the other hand, I want to create tax cuts for the businesses, decrease their profit tax from 34.5% to 15%.
That's long overdue, man.
Thank you. Because in Curacao, they did it and made more money. You do all of these. You pay TOT, pay wage tax, pay AVBZ, pay all of these things. And then when you finally hold money, here comes the government and say, give me 35%. 34.5% to be exact, but let's round it up, 35%. What people do, they start to hide their money.
No.
A lot of people don't mind paying 15%. And I also want to incorporate a private-public partnership whereby businesses, for instance, you want to invest $100,000 in our community, be it to a school, roads, whatever it may be, $100,000 for the year. At the end of the year, what we will do is take the 10% of your investment in the community, which would be 10% of $100,000, which is $10,000, and deduct that from your profit tax. So your profit tax, an example, is $50,000. I would then deduct $10,000 from it. So you'll be paying profit tax on $40,000 as opposed to your $50,000.
That's a good incentive or basis.
Good. Yeah. And then you're gonna say, "Well, why you're not making money?" But it's not for me to make the money when the businesses are putting millions in our streets, putting millions in our schools, putting millions in our communities. Then they are doing the job with us, almost for us. Create incentive. It's not rocket science. And another thing, I do believe, and I will raise the pension again once I'm permitted to, right? And when I say permitted to, I mean be in the position to. If AOV pension is your sole income, your maximum pension should equal a livable wage, which means I will take your maximum pension from 13 to 2,700 if that is your sole income. Every household should have a livable wage. And I cannot expect, because you are a senior now, you to survive under the livable wage. And asking you to survive with 1,300 guilders, and that's the maximum of pension. Some people make 600 guilders, 400 guilders. You can't survive. Of course, pension is based on the amount of years that you have worked. That's why I say your maximum pension would be 2,700, but we would also add an increase to the pension itself. So if you're making 8 now, you might make 1,000. You're making 4 now, you might make 6. That is how you sustain an economy.
Well, no, the seniors are really suffering in St. Martin.
Very much.
They live in very poor condition with what they're getting right now. So they'll be happy for that.
Yeah, they were extremely happy in December when I raised the pension. Again, that's because hard work and SFA obtaining these positive reports, because SFA was like, oh, MP is kind of hard. I said, no, we have to raise the pension. We have to do it for our seniors. And I know they were minister at the time. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I said, no, we have to do it, and we're going to do it. And I'm happy that we did it.
MP Ottley, is there anything else you want to add before closing? Because I'm impressed
Thank
with
you,
what
sir.
you think, the ideas that you have, because politics is one thing. I think your track record has proven it as minister. You've delivered, and it's important because with that increase in the minimum wage,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people saw you differently, because there were other ministers who listened to a particular group and would not do what you did. I know the group that was trying to keep that minimum wage low. So you're an incredible gentleman by doing just the opposite for the people.
Thank you, sir. And that is what it is. I fight for the people, and I will continue to do so. And I think that, I know that they saw it in a government where most of them decreased, I increased.
Mm-hmm.
Almost doubled. That said a lot. And I will just continue to strive for excellence and push. And if you permit me, I would just like to say, St. Martin, on August 19th, I'm asking for your support. I'm asking you to come out, everyone that is seeing this. A man that has proven that he have done and will do for you. Allow me to be your leader into the future and bring St. Martin back to prosperity. Not back to how it was, but back to prosperity, and better than how it was, and better than it ever will be. On August 19th, make me your candidate, Omar E.C. Ottley, your number one candidate on the United People's Party. We are the 7th party to the right on the voting ballot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will see my face. Go down to number 1 that says Ottley Omar E.C. and circle right there. Thank you, St. Martin.